Good morning. Thank you for joining us for this recorded service and Dharma talk. I will be chanting the Juseige, and those who wish to, please join me in this sutra chanting. Namo Amida Butsu, 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 Namo Amida Butsu. Busetsu Daimuryo Jukyo Juseige Gagon Sho Thegan His-shi mu Jodo Shigan hu mandoku Defujo Shogak Gao muryo ko Uidai Theishu Futai Sho Bingu Defujo Shogak Gashijo Bundo Myoshoto Jippo Kukyo mi Shomon Defujo Shogaku Ryoku Jin Shonen Joeshu Bongyo Shigumu Jodo Isho Tennen Shi Jinriki and Daiko Ushomu Taido Shoujo San Kumyo Kotai Shu Yakunan Kaihichi Egen Messhi Kon Moan Hei Tokusho Akudo Tudaten Shumon Kosojo Mandoku Ioro Jippo Nichigaten Shu Juki Tenko Onfugen Ishu Kai Hodo Koseku Dokuho Joodai Shuchu Seppo Shi Shiku Kuyo Itaya Buten Gu Sokushu Tokuhon Ganne Yoman Tokui Sangayo Yobuten Mu Gechi Tudaten Mi Husho Gangaku Eriki Toshi Sai Shoson Shiganya Koka Daisen no Kando Koku Sho Tennin Kochin Myoke Namandabu 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 Gani shikudoku Byodo sei isai Dohon modai shin ojo on koku Namanda Buddhamanda Namanda 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 Buddhamanda Namo Amida Butsu Namanda Butsu Namo Amida Butsu Namanda Butsu Namo Amida Butsu Namanda Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu Namanda Butsu Namo Amida Butsu Namanda Butsu Namo Amida Butsu Namanda Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Well, good morning, and again, thank you for viewing this recorded service and Dharma talk. It is August 2020, and in August, it's usually a time when Buddhist monks, nuns, and priests engage in a study retreat. In Japan, they still use the Sanskrit term for that, ongo. We use a a Japanese term, fuken, but it's a nickname. And so sometimes our ministers in Japan don't know what we're talking about, but we use the contraction of a longer term, fuken. But we do this every year. We have both a regional and a national fuken. This year, it's going to be all cyber. August 19th, I will sit in front of a computer and I will listen to talks by Dr. Mark Blum on the Mahaparinirvana Sutra. And it'll be nice, but it'll take 2 hours of my time. Usually the ministers gather together, often in Berkeley, and this takes us away from our temples, from our communities, and from our families for a few days. So if I may, let me share an experience from 11 years ago when I was getting ready to go off to this study session, this fuken, out of town as it usually is. I was going to go up to the beautiful Jodo Shinshu Center. And that year, 11 years ago, I was also on the Board of Trustees for the graduate school. So I had an IBS meeting, we had an Eitaikyo service for the graduates who had passed away, and then we had the 2 days of the study session. I don't remember what we studied that year. But what I remember is the night before I got on the plane to go up to Berkeley, having dinner with my family, and my wife was telling my younger son, Ren, who at that time was just 4, that Daddy's going to be going away for a week. And the tears just started to stream down Ren's face, you know. And my wife teased him and said, "Oh, you're just sad because you won't be able to play your Game Boy and watch TV as much as when Daddy's here." I'm more liberal on these issues. And he said, "No, it's because I love Daddy." And this is a very tender moment for me and a lovely remembrance of mine. It's moments like these that make parenting so rewarding. You don't want to make your children cry, but it's very touching to know that they care about you. Now, I'm a minor scholar within our tradition. I'm not Hoshu Matsubashi or Dennis Hirota or even Ken Tanaka, but I am a minor scholar within our tradition. And I point that out because, you know, even the scholars, even the people who are top scholars, in our day-to-day living, we come down to some very simple principles. And we're calling this anecdote of going off to this study session. I do believe it was Omine Sensei we studied with that year. He talked about connection between Heidegger and Shinran, which is very detailed, very complex, and you don't need to know. But the important part is that my son was going to miss me, and that really touched me. Nothing is more important than the love that we share with our friends and families. To value the love of family and friends, you don't need Buddhism to teach you this, but to place that love in a broader context of living meaningful lives, this we do need sometimes, you know. And we rely on the resources that we have. I took classes on Hinduism and Buddhism as an undergraduate in college, and at Fresno State, the guy who covered Hinduism was okay. He was very good in certain areas and not so good in others. But that was Dr. Robert Elder. But the guy who covered Buddhism, Elton Hall, was not very good. And I took the classes anyway, because it gave me a chance to accrue 3 more units towards graduation, studying something I wanted to study, the Buddha Dharma. But he wasn't a top scholar. And Elton, one time, he got off on this thing about Jodo Shinshu. So, I heard this Jodo Shinshu tradition. Yes, they believe Buddha loves me, this I know, because the sutras tell me so. Well, you know, our members have gotten tired of hearing that, and I'll tell you 2 things. One is what you all know, that no Jodo Shinshu temple has ever had a song, Buddha loves me, this I know, because the sutras tell me so. But you know what? Soto Zen has. In Hawaii, that was a Soto Zen song. And what I'm going to say to you is, it's all right. That's all right. It's all right to have a very simple perspective. Underneath all this thought, all this theory, all this meditation, we have to get back to living a life where nothing is more important than the love of friends and family. And we have to learn to take in the fact that people care about us. You have to take in the love of others. Buddha loves me, this we know. Yes, indeed. Honen, Shinran's direct teacher, had a comment about this. You may not have thought that's what it was about, but Honen has the famous poem. I'm not a poet, so I'll give you my prosaic translation. Honen's poem about the moonlight is, "The moon shines upon the whole world, neglecting not even the smallest village. However, its beauty is only appreciated by those who gaze upon it." You are loved. Every one of you is loved. But if you don't take it in, if you don't go, yeah, that's my son, yeah, that's my friend, that's my niece, that's my sister, they care about me. If you don't take it in, it won't nurture you. This very simple perspective, yes, the Buddha loves you, this you know, because we told you so, because the sutras tell us, because Shinran told us, yes, there's more to it than that, a lot more to it than that, but that's part of it. There is a love extended to us, an acceptance, a caring that is extended to us, and we need that. But just like the moonlight illumines the evening, but if you don't gaze on the moon, you miss it. You miss the beauty of it. We are still alive because people care about us. We couldn't make it alone. Not a one of us could make it alone. But we need to know that. We need to take it in. And it's hard, you know. It's hard to take it in. It's hard to express it sometimes. But our children can be more direct. And that's why sometimes it is children who bring us back to what is truly important. That same day that my then 4-year-old son, Ren, started to cry because he knew I'd be gone for a week, my wife expressed a wonder about life after death. She said, I don't know if we really go to the Pure Land when we die. I don't know if there's really life after death. We still think those thoughts. Priests and ministers still think those thoughts on occasion. But my then 4-year-old son simply said to her, well, no, you say the Nembutsu, so you're going to go to the Pure Land when you die. You think he's wrong? He's not wrong. It's simple, a very simple way of putting it, a very simple truth. The truth can be put in complex ways, and sometimes we need to hear that. Adults need to hear that sometimes, but we also need to hear the simple teaching too. It's all right to think in simple terms about life and love, and about religious concerns, and in fact, it is inevitable that we think in rather simple terms about these complex matters. So let me close with my oft-used analogy. Are you enlightened yet? Probably not. Am I enlightened yet? No. You and I are riding a vehicle which will inevitably take us to enlightenment. We are going to pull into that station. It's like we're on a train. The rail is there. There's nowhere else that train's going to go but enlightenment, awakening, beauty, truth, and goodness. We will one day awaken thoroughly to truth, beauty, and goodness. We will one day. Join me in saying the Buddha's name a few times in closing, if you would. We rely upon the source of limitless wisdom and endless life. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda Butsu. Thank you very much.